Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 Minutes to a Better Mix, where we're looking at 31 mixing tips in 31 days. Got a guitar tutorial for you today, but keep in mind this can actually apply to any instrument. The idea is if you have any similar instruments recorded, multiple guitars that are similar in tone, multiple string parts or multiple keyboard parts or even multiple vocal parts where they're similar tonal frequencies, and in the mix they start to overlap or mask each other, and you would just like them to be a little bit more clear and slightly more independent from each other so you could perceive them. Oh, there's that guitar part, there's that guitar part. You want to make sure that that separation's happening. Here's a simple little thing you can do, and this is an old school trick of some simple complementary EQ carving. Let me show you an example. Here's a part of the song where you have a bunch of guitars happening. I got some rhythm guitars, similar parts on the left and right. Lead guitar, right, left and right. So these are a good example of all four of them are relatively similar, but the pairs are similar. The rhythm guitars are the same guitar amp combo. The lead is the same guitar amp combo. They're just doubles of each other, right? Slightly different tones, but they're pretty similar. So here's something I've done to kind of keep the separation a little more clear. Here are the rhythm parts, and let me pull up their processing here. So there's one on the left, one on the right. They're both going through a SSLG channel, and without any processing, this is what they sound like. With EQ. Now this is subtle, but they're a little bit more independent from each other. Here's what I've done. I've basically did some listening, but on the left guitar, I kind of found a frequency around here, 3.5K, that I thought sounded really, really good. And so I boosted that by about 3 dB, okay? It was a frequency that was cutting through a little bit. It sounded nice on the guitar by itself. So then what I did is go over to the right guitar and find that same 3.5K and dial that down about 3 dB, right? Just make a little bit of room. So there's about 3 dB more room because I've turned it down on this guitar and then I've turned it up on this guitar. So it's like a 6 dB swing of difference where this is going to be more prominent in that 3.5K range. It's going to have a little more bite to it there than the right guitar. Same is true on a different frequency. I kind of found on the right guitar that this guitar really sounded nice and punchy, a little over 1K. So I boosted there at about 3 dB, around 1K. So it's not going to be as bright of a frequency, but it still is punchy. And then over on the left, you guessed it, I found the same 1 point whatever K and dialed that down about 3 dB. That's the only EQ on these guitars other than a high-pass filter, which I would do on just about any guitar. And the difference is pretty helpful. It's subtle, but it allows each guitar to still sound unique, but allows me to focus on one frequency. It allowed the right guitar to focus around 1K, the left guitar to focus around 3.5K. And so again, you get a little bit of a difference. Here's without. With. They're kind of flat and similar. If you're listening on headphones especially, you might notice the moment I bring those EQs back in that the guitars kind of pop out to the left and the right a little bit wider. I mean, that's like a psychoacoustic trick. It's not really happening, but it's almost like they get a little bit more separation, and this really, really is helpful when you're doing your EQ in mono, which I hope you're doing, by the way. If you've watched 5 Minutes to a Better Mix in previous iterations, do your primary EQ, carving, boosting, whatever, with all your mix in mono, so it's all overlapping. It will force you to EQ things right, and so this becomes more apparent in mono, and it's helpful. So then when you do pop it out to stereo, there's even more clarity. I did a similar thing on the lead guitars, a little bit of complementary EQ there as well. Take a listen with and without. Here's without. That just helps you. It focuses guitars a little bit more, and it allows doubles or pairs or similar instruments of any kind to have slightly more space. It gives them a little bit more help to stick out in the mix. Doesn't totally change the tone, but it gives a little bit more room, and every bit helps. Hope that helps your mixes. Try it out on guitars or any other instrument that is similar. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on tomorrow's video.